If I told you 2 years ago that we'd be previewing a Big Ten championship game with Indiana coming in at 12-0 and legitimately threatening to walk out as the number one seed in the playoffs, you would have asked me what I was smoking at that point, right? 2 years ago, this would have never thought to be possible. Yet here we are, Indiana versus Ohio State, Saturday night in Indianapolis. The Hoosiers are 4.5 to 6 point underdogs. Not terrible, especially when you consider some of the other underdogs they've been this season. But this isn't like 2 years ago. They're not 24, 34 point underdogs, anything like that. Right now on FanDuel, they sit at 5.5 underdogs. That alone is one of the wildest sentences that we could have ever said, that Indiana is 5.5 point underdogs to undefeated Ohio State. You see, before Curt Cignetti arrived in December of 2023, Indiana had exactly two 9-win seasons in 137 years of football, 1945 and 1967. That's it. They were the losingest FBS program in history. They had never won 11 games ever. They never won 10 games ever. Last year, in Cignetti's first season, they went 11-2 in the program record for wins, and everyone was just kind of, patting them on the head like, oh, cute story, that's great, we're so proud of you. Meanwhile, we're here treating them like a tier 1 team in the Big Ten, but then the offseason comes, right? We had Indiana fans in the chat saying, they were legitimately saying, we're going to go 12-0. And even I, somebody who was sticking up for Indiana all this time last year, was like, guys, I think 11-1 might be your ceiling. I was one of the few analysts who actually gave Indiana credit last year, and I still looked at Penn State and Oregon on the schedule and told people the schedule is too tough and they won't go undefeated. I tried to temper expectations, say you can have another great season, you can go 10-2, you can go 11-1, but not undefeated. Then comes this year. We're sitting right here, right now. They're 12-0 and have already broken their own record again and have record wins at huge wins over Oregon, Penn State, and Iowa. They're one win away from a Big Ten title and being able to be the number one seed in the college football playoffs. In 23 months, Curt Cignetti has done what no one, literally no one, thought was possible. He has taken Indiana from the basement to the penthouse. They went from doing dishes in the Knickerbocker to staying in the Cohen suites so fast it feels like they're living in that we're living in a simulation. So how'd they do it, right? I have a few ways that I think has been crucial and key for how Cignetti has done this to take this program where no one thought it could possibly be, and I want to address those things as they have gotten up to the level of the top tiers in the Big Ten. But first, please do hit that like button and subscribe. We're trying to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we would very much appreciate your assistance in that. Okay, my first reason, continuity. Okay, Cignetti has done a great job with continuity. Okay, he didn't just bring a playbook, to Bloomington. He brought an entire army of his staff, guys that have been with him for the better part of a decade, right? Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, strength coach, all of these guys. He's brought all these guys with him because he knows he can win with these guys, and they've won at every single level they've been at. Most of them from James Madison days, right? But some of them even prior to James Madison as well. These guys have been in the same meeting room since the FCS playoffs run. They know exactly who fits their system, and just as importantly, who does not fit their system. That trust and that continuity is priceless in an era where most programs are turning over 25 to 40 players every offseason. The second one is the transfer portal being used so surgically, not desperately. And it's not just James Madison guys they're getting. Yes, they're getting a lot of James Madison guys, but being able to go out and get Kurtis Rourke last year, Fernando Mendoza this year, quarterbacks who were perfect fits for Indiana and completely bought into Cignetti and his system. Plus, Cignetti's hire of Bob Bostad for the offensive line, they're able to open up holes for a deep stable of running backs. Indiana had a running back injury early on in the season, and you wouldn't even guess that it happened, right? They didn't just grab names of guys, they grabbed the exact profile of their staff who has won with these guys before. My third one is identity. This is a grown man football team, all right? They run power and duo probably better than anyone in the country right now. They ran the ball for 300 plus yards in 6 different games this season. I don't care who you're playing, 6 different games this season of 300 plus yards on the ground this year, and have the third highest rushing yards per game average among Power 4 teams this year. Got to say that because you got like the Air Forces and teams like that up there as well that just run the ball every play. But all while playing, all while starting 7 different offensive linemen this year in the toughest and most physical conference in college football. That's not fluky. That's not that's schematics. That's coaching, and that is excellent, excellent culture. And fourth, maybe the most underrated part, discipline. Indiana doesn't beat themselves. They're one of the most talented teams in the league at not beating themselves, but they play assignment sound football on both sides of the ball. They're not one of the most talented teams, but they are one of the best teams at playing assignment sound football on both sides of the ball, and they protect the football very well too. And even if they don't protect the football and have a late game turnover, they have clutch players who make plays when it matters most. That's why they were able to go on the road to Oregon and fall behind early, but just keep coming back and back until they win it in, or they fall behind in that game, and they keep coming back and back and back and win that game in the fourth quarter. This team isn't perfect. No team is perfect, right? But it's about how a team responds when they make mistakes, when they face adversity. And Indiana has responded every time this year glowingly. Look, we all remember the narratives from last year, right? Yeah, they're fun, but will they ever actually play anybody? All this, like, we heard it so many times. We heard it too many times. Cignetti even said last year, Ohio State's game where they lost 38 to 38-15, I think it was. I might be getting that wrong off the top of my head, but it wasn't a lot of fun for them. But it was necessary for them to learn. They needed to feel what an elite team looked like, and they took those lessons, upgraded a couple spots, and came back this year and beat teams the right way. They beat teams who are elite, who do have elite rosters. Oregon, Iowa is an elite disciplined team, right? They were able to win these games in the trenches, in the fourth quarter, on the road. And the craziest part is that this isn't smoke and mirrors anymore. Ohio State is the betting favorite. Yes, they are totally the betting favorite to win this game. They are the royalty of college football right now, okay? But odds don't always get it right. Oregon was favored by more than that, and they were at home and did not, and not only did Indiana cover, but they won the game by multiple scores on the road. It's for that reason and many more that real football people, not just trolls, on the internet and stuff, but the real football people are actually going to pick Indiana straight up to win this game because they believe in them and because they think they can get it done. And here's the larger point that, that will still be true Sunday morning no matter what the final score is. Curt Cignetti has already put Indiana in the same tier as Ohio State in a way that is sustainable. All right, the infrastructure is catching up. The roster, plenty of excellent players on it. NIL is flowing. They're getting the upgrades they need from the administration. The alumni base is the largest in the country, and winning changes everything. Mark Cuban is a famous Indiana grad out there. He went to Indiana. He's not the only wealthy alumni out there, though. He's noticing that who's noticing that Bloomington is now a place where you can win at the highest level. We used to say, Michigan spent decades trying to get on the same level as Ohio State. Well, here we are. Indiana didn't just do it in 2 off seasons with a coaching staff from James Madison, a transfer quarterback, and an absolute, refusal to accept the limitations. They created a new standard and wouldn't accept anything less. Saturday night is going to be absolutely electric. Lucas Oil, it's going to be 60-40, one of these and the other one, we'll see if the Cream and Crimson get it or the Scarlet and Gray get it, but it very well might be one of the first not first, but it might as well just be a completely neutral field for both of these teams being so close. Ohio State traveling so well, but win or lose, Indiana has already forced the entire sport to take them seriously. Curt Cignetti walked into Bloomington and basically said, "Google me." Well, we did Google him, and now the rest of college football has no choice but to do the same thing. Indiana is a great team this season. They are totally on Ohio State's level, and nobody can say, oh, well, they're 12-0, but it's not really a good 12-0. No, they were able to do something that Ohio State wasn't able to do last year. That's go 12-0. That's to win on the road over Oregon in that season, right? To be able to beat these teams, to be 12-0, and to lock up their spot in the college football playoffs and also in the Big Ten championship game. It's a phenomenal achievement. This Indiana team, what they've been able to do, what they're able to have, discipline, identity, all of these things that Curt Cignetti puts in there. This Indiana team has leveled up. While everybody else is chasing Ohio State, Indiana is right there, and they have their shot at the royalty of college football in Ohio State. Can they take them down? It's going to be a great game to watch, and I cannot wait. Stay with us here on the Big Ten Huddle as we will have coverage of it all after, and we look forward to having you here with us. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Have a good one.